It's at the top, it says how to say numbers. Okay, so let's talk about how to say numbers. So most lessons, this is called an anchor chart. So remember in your folders when you wrote the word anchor chart on one side of your math folder, that's where things like this are going to go. These are going to be up on the board until the day of the test. So anytime you're doing homework or you're trying to remember, you can refer back to these to help you. Victoria, put it away. At the top, it says how to say numbers. Now this is something that you may think, oh, that's easy, but then when you get into it, you're like, wait, how do I say that number? So when we talk about numbers and we talk about place value, there's a thing called a period. We're going to talk about that, I think it is in today's lesson. So we have the ones period, the thousands period, the millions period, and the billions period. And then it keeps going trillions, whatever comes after trillions, and so on. So when we say words, we have this really long number right here. In order to say that, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the left and we're going to move to the right. We are just going to look at what's between the commas. Oops. So right here, we're going to start with this. We're going to say that number, then say, once we get to a comma, we say what period it's in. In order to figure out what period it's in, we start on the right, and we name the periods as we go this way. We know the first one, no matter what, is the ones period. The second set of numbers between commas is the thousands period, no matter what. The third set of numbers between commas is in the millions period, no matter what. And then the fourth set of numbers between the commas is in the billions period, no matter what. As long as we start on the right, as long as we start on the right, we can always say the ones period, the thousands period, the millions period, and the billions period. So then what we do is we say the number between commas, and then we say the name of the period that it's in. So first, we have 456. We have a comma, so we say billion. Then we go to the next set of numbers, 781. We're at a comma, so we say that period, million. Then we go to the next set of numbers, 531. We have a comma, so we say the name of the period, thousands. And then we have our last set of number, 209. We do not say the name of the ones period, ever. Okay? You would never say 456 billion, 781 million, 531,000, 209, 1. That doesn't make sense. So we never say the name of the ones period. We would just say 456 billion, 781 million, 531,000, 209. Anytime you get to a comma when you're reading a number, you say the name of the period that the numbers before the comma were in. And that will start to make more sense as we get through today's lesson, and I think tomorrow's too. Okay, so now, I can't find this on my computer, so go ahead and look at this one. That says place value at the top. The definition of place value. Place value determines, so be looking at yours and reading along as I read out loud. Place value determines the value means how much it's worth, of a digit in a number based on the location of the digit. So we know that a digit is just a number, like this is a digit, this 4 is a digit. Once we put a bunch of digits together, then we get a number. So depending on where that digit is in a number is how much it's worth. For example, if you look at this 6 in the 10,000s place, that 6 is worth 60,000. And as we go through this lesson today, this is going to make a lot more sense. So I'm going to go get to the math book. Everybody should have their math book or their printed math pages. And then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so we have our place value chart. Our place value chart will always be broken into 3 rows. Rows go side to side, like a row of bushes. If you wanted to plant a row of bushes or flowers, would you plant the seeds one right on top of each other? What would happen if you planted the seeds one right on top of the other? Colin?
They'll grow up.
Would the bottom ones grow? What's happening? What's in the way?
The other seeds.
The other seeds. So when you're planting a row of bushes or a row of flowers, they go next to each other, side to side. That's how you can remember that rows go side to side. Columns are the ones that go up and down. Because think of a building with columns on it. If they put those columns sideways, would it hold up the roof of the building? No, they have to put them up and down. So that will help you to understand that columns go up and down. Ethan, pay attention. Scoot in. You should not be playing with anything in your desk. Your hands need to be on your desk. Columns go up and down. Rows go side to side. So a place value chart always has 3 rows. Now the number of columns is going to depend on how many periods or digits that you're looking at. Our place value chart that I'm drawing right now is going to have 6 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. When you count columns, make sure you count the number of columns, not the number of lines. Because if I counted the number of lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I only have 5. But when I count the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have the right number of columns. Now, our place value chart is going to have 2 periods, like we talked about earlier. The ones period and the thousands period. Between periods, there is always a comma. There is no comma inside a period. There are commas between periods. Each period has a ones place, a tens place, and a hundredths place. No matter what the period is. It could be the quadrillions period. It's going to have a ones, a tens, and a hundredths place. So in the ones period, we have the ones, tens, and hundredths place. In the thousands period, we have the thousands period or the 1,000s period, but we're going to try to get away from saying the 1,000s period, and you will see why when we get into this lesson. Aaron, please put it on or put it in your backpack. The thousands period has a tens place. It's the 10,000s place. And the thousands period has a hundredths place. It is the 100,000s place. Now, if I write this number, what number is this? Carla, what number is that? Don't forget to unmute yourself. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
1,000.
1,000. Each of these pieces are called a digit. Each digit has a value. It is just that digit times the place it's in. So 1 times 1,000 is the number 1,000. So this 1 in the 1,000s place is worth not 1, but 1,000. This 0 in the hundreds place is worth 0 times 100, which is 0. The 0 in the tens place is worth 0 times 10, which is 0. And the 0 in the ones place is worth 0 times 1, which is 0. So 1,000 has 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. There's a digit in the ones place, it's worth nothing. There's a digit in the tens place, it's worth nothing. A digit in the hundreds place, it's worth nothing. And a 1 in the 1,000s place, so it is worth 1,000. Yes, sorry.
You're kind of breaking up.
Oh, you are too. Carla and Smith, am I breaking up for you guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, Zari, just try to keep up. Hopefully it'll get better. Because you don't seem to be, you were freezing a little bit here and there, but it looks like you're moving pretty regularly now. Try to keep up, and if there are issues, I am recording this, so you can watch it later on YouTube. Does that sound okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we've talked a little about a place value chart, we're going to be using a lot of place value charts in this chapter. Let's go ahead and look at page 11. Yes, page 11. Go ahead and read the sentences under the title. Colin again.
A digit is
Read loud so that the girls at home can hear.
Okay.
That goes for everybody. When you read, you need to read very, very loud.
a digit in any simple
Symbol.
used to write a whole number.
So pause. That's our first vocabulary word for math this year. We have vocabulary in math. You had vocabulary in math last year. You have it this year. It is important. You may think, oh, we're doing math. All we have to worry about is numbers. Nope, you got to worry about words too. Ethan, sit up. A digit is any symbol used to write a whole number. Go ahead and underline that. It is very important to know. Your tests, everything will have a vocabulary section. Your homework typically has a vocabulary section. Typically means it won't have one all the time, but it will have one a lot of the time. Yes, Carla, quickly, don't forget to unmute yourself. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Can I highlight it?
Sure. A digit is any symbol used to write a whole number. That means that is that one little number inside a big number. This 1 is a digit in the number 1,000. These zeros are digits in the number 1,000. So if we're trying to connect that to something we know, think of a word. A word is made up of what? Pay attention. Michaela. Letters. A word is made up of letters. We can say the same thing about numbers. A number is made up of digits. So digits and letters are similar. Words and numbers are similar. Is everybody with me? Okay. Cullen, read the next sentence.
The value given into a digit by its place is a number.
Read the whole word. Remember, when we read, we have to read the whole word, not just the first letter. That's something that you guys will get better at this year. Make sure you're reading loud, okay?
Its place in a number and is called place value.
Good. The value given to a digit by its place in a number is called place value. Please highlight or underline that sentence because that's our next definition. Value means how much it's worth. A dollar bill is worth how much? Victoria? Correct, but but 100 instead of pennies we can say 100. What's 1 penny worth? So that means 100 pennies is worth how much? 100. So a $1 bill is worth 100 cents. So I can say the worth of a dollar bill is 100 cents. That's how much the value is. The value of a dollar is the same as the worth of a dollar. So value and worth are synonyms. So if you're confused by the value given to a digit, what does that mean? It means how much is it worth? Just like this 1 in the 1,000s place, it is not worth 1. If you had the choice between $1,000 and $1, which one would you choose? Aaron? You choose $1 over $1,000? $1,000. That's why value is so important. Because if I said, okay, I'm going to give you the value of this digit, and you told me, oh, cool, I get $1, you just lost out on $999 because you didn't know how much this 1 was worth. That's why it is so important. Okay, Cullen, read that last one.
A place value chart shows the value of the digit in a number.
Good. So a place value chart tells us how much it's worth. Can everybody at home hear Cullen when she reads? I know she's right next to the computer though, so Hopefully it'll work. Very good. So we know now a digit is like a letter and a number. It's just the symbol itself that makes up a number. Place value is how much each of those digits is worth. And a place value chart is a tool that we can use to figure out how much each digit is worth. Okay? Let's see. Victoria, go ahead and erase the black lines while I change the page, and then sanitize your hands after. Quick. You should be down and back at your seat by the time I get up here. Okay, so everybody, finger or pencil on the word example 1. If I do not see your finger or your pencil on example 1, we will not continue. Girls at home, I'm just going to trust you that you've got your finger or your pencil on example 1, because I can see if you do that. Yes, but you don't have to do that, especially once you have the book. I'm gonna trust you. Or you can give me a thumbs up when you've got your finger or pencil on example 1. Cool. Okay, read in your head while I read out loud. You read in your head, I read out loud. The average pencil can draw a line that is almost 1,000, it's been a while since I've read big numbers. The average pencil can draw a line that is almost 184,800 feet long. What is the value of the highlighted digit? Anytime we do word problems, we go through and we circle the important information, we underline the question, we put a box around important information, we underline the question, and then we circle any words that might help us to find the answer. So in this case, I know my important information is 184,800 feet. My question is, what is the value of the highlighted digit? In this case, I don't really have any words that I need to circle. Circling words is more for when we're doing operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, because you need to circle the word that tells you which operation you're doing. We're not doing any operation. All we're doing is we're looking at the number 184,800 feet and then figuring out the value of the highlighted digit. In this case, which digit is highlighted? Carla, don't forget to unmute yourself.
8.
8. This 8 right here is highlighted. So what they did is they created a place value chart, just like the one I created earlier. It has 1, 2, 3 rows, just like we talked about. Place value charts will always have 3 rows. Ethan, pay attention. It has 2 periods. It has the ones period. The ones period is always the furthest to the right when we're working with whole numbers. The thousands period always comes next when we're working with whole numbers. Is the thousands period always going to be first? Think about it for a second. Michaela, why is the thousands period not always going to be first? Zari, can you help her out?
There's numbers after the thousands.
Because if we have a larger number, it's going to go further to the left. The ones period is always the furthest to the right in a whole number. The thousands period comes next, but you might have a bigger number, which means you may need a millions or billions period, like the numbers we looked at earlier. So what they did is they took the number 184,800 and they put it in their place value chart. Now I know it's already written there for you, but we're going to go over it with our pencil because it will help to create muscle memory, which means you'll remember it a little better because you have written it. But pause, because when we write a number in a place value chart, we don't start on the left, like when we write words. Because what if my place value chart, I have my place value chart, and what if I'm trying to write the number 427 And what if I start here on the left like I usually start when I write? Is that the number 427? No, it's not, because my 4 in the hundred thousands place is worth 400,000, which means if I did that, I have 427,000. Is that the same as this number? No. So when we write numbers in place value charts, we start on the right. So we start with the last digit, and then we move to the greater digits. So we're going to start with the 0, and then the next 0. You guys should be doing this too. And then the number 8. We're not going to forget our comma. Then the number 4, the number 8 again, and the number 1. Does everybody understand why when we write numbers in a place value chart, we start on the right instead of the left? Does everybody understand? Or are you a little bit confused? Okay. Now when we look at this, we have our thousands period and our ones period. We have a ones, tens, and hundreds place in each period. The ones in the ones period is worth 1. The tens in the tens period is worth that number times 10. The digit in the hundreds in the ones period is that digit times 100. So how much is this 8 in the hundreds place worth? Victoria? 800. And 8 in the hundreds period is worth 800. Now we have ones again, but is that only worth 1? What's it worth? A 1 in the thousands place is worth how much? A 1, the ones place in the hundreds period, in the thousands period is worth how much? 1,000, because we have 1,000. I wish this book did this each time. I understand why they're doing it, so that you can see there's a ones, tens, and hundreds place in each period, but it's still 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. So a 4 in the 1,000s place is worth 4 times 1,000, which is how much? Michaela? 4,000. We'll skip this one because that's our final answer. And then we have a 1 in the 100,000s place, which is 1 times 100,000, which is what? Carla, don't forget to unmute yourself.
It is 10,000.
Is it a 1 in the 100,000s? How much is it worth? It's 1 times 100,000, which equals what, Carla?
100,000.
100,000. Now, the highlighted digit 8 is in which place, Victoria? If we look at our place value chart, and we look at that highlighted 8, which place is it in?
10,000.
The 10,000s place. So, we are going to write that answer on the line. Everybody should be doing that. When you've finished writing 10,000s on that line, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Cullen. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Kingston. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Aaron, Zadie, Smith. Zari, are you good? And Zari. Okay, so that means we have an 8 in the 10,000s place. That means that digit is worth 8 times 10,000, which is how much, Victoria? 8,000. An 8 in the thousands place would be worth 8,000. An 8 in the 10,000s place is worth
10,000.
Can somebody help her out? Remember how to say numbers. We've got it right here. How do we say this number? What period are these first 3 digits in? Zari, what period are the first 3 digits in this number?
The thousands period.
These right here? I'm sorry, I guess I should say the last 3 digits. What period are the last 3 digits in?
The ones period.
The ones period. Then we have some more, we have a comma. What period comes next? Sorry? What period comes next after the ones period?
The thousands.
The thousands period. So when we're saying numbers, we look at the comma, we cover everything else. We say the number between the comma, which is what, Zari?
Is the thousands period.
But we're looking, say the number that comes before the comma. What number is that? Is it 800? Look at your book. What number, underneath the 10,000s place, what number comes before the comma? We have an 8 and a 0. What number is that?
8,000.
Victoria, can you help her out?
80.
80. If we cover up everything except for what comes before the comma, all we have is 80. So Zari, cover up those 3 zeros with your finger. Use your finger to cover up those 3 zeros on the math book. What do you have? You're in the math book.
80.
8. Then we get to a comma and we say the name of that period. So we have 80. Sorry.
80.
What period is that 80 in the math book?
80,100.
80. Is there a hundredths period?
80,000.
80,000. Now we have zeros in the ones period. Do we say those at all? Do we say 80,000 zeros?
No.
No, we just say 80,000. If there are zeros in a whole period, like there's nothing but zeros in a period, we don't say it at all. We ignore that period. So, an 8 in the 10,000s place is worth how much? Let's see, we're going back to Victoria. How much is an 8 in the 10,000s place worth? Look at that number. 80,000. The value of an 8 in the 10,000s place is 80,000. Make sure you're paying attention. I see a lot of people that are not writing. You're going to be so lost when you get to the independent practice and especially the homework. You have got to pay attention and follow along. Okay. Go ahead, let's see. Zadie, read the first sentence underneath what we just did together.
A digit in each place represents 10 times what it would represent in the place to its right.
Good. So what that means is say I have this number. 555,555. That means this 5 in the ones place is worth 5. A 5 in the tens place is worth 50. A 5 in the hundreds place is worth 500. A 5 in the thousands place is worth 5,000. A 5 in the 10,000s place is worth 50,000. A 5 in the 100,000s place is worth 500,000. Does everybody here listen to this? 5,000. 50,000. 500. 500,000. Do you notice how, depending on the period, you always say the period after the word? The only difference is here, instead of saying 1,000, we say 5,000. Does everybody notice that? So that means you will have these numbers in every period. You'll just say the name of the period after. 5 in the ones period is worth 5. 5 in the thousands period is worth 5,000. 50 in the ones period is worth 50. 50 in the thousands period is worth 50,000. 500 in the ones period is worth 500. 500 in the thousands period is worth 500,000. Now that sentence, going back to what Zadie just said, a digit in each place represents 10 times what it would represent in the place to its right. That means as you move right to the right, each value is 10 times greater than the one right next to it. So that means 500,000 is 10 times greater than 50,000. Eyes up here. 500 is 10 times greater than 50,000. 50,000 is 10 times greater than 5,000. 5,000 is 10 times greater than 500. 500 is 10 times greater than 50. 50 is 10 times greater than 5. Now you may not know multiplication as well as you may think you need to, but all you need to know is if you're looking at these two digits, this digit is worth 10 more than this digit. If you're looking at these two digits, this digit is 10 times more than this one. Okay? When you're looking at two digits that are right next to each other, the first one is 10 times greater than the second one. That's all you need to know right now. If you're looking at two digits that are right next to each other in a number, the one on the left is 10 times greater than the one on the right. Circle this, because you will see it again. I see 4 people in the classroom circling it. I see 3 at home. If you are not going to focus, you are going to have some issues. You have got to focus. I cannot wait for everybody to be ready to listen. You have to be a first-time listener, just like our rule says. Follow directions the first time. If you are going to zone out or look off or think, this is so boring, I have no idea what's going on, well, guess what? You're not going to know what's going on. If you focus, you will understand what's going on. Okay, Zadie, read the next sentence.
When 8 is...
Make sure you're loud so that the girls at home can hear.
When 8 is in the 10,000s place, it has a value of 80,000.
Good. So when 8 is in the 10,000s place, it's worth 80,000. Just like if we had an 8 in the tens place, it would be worth 80. Well, an 8 in the 10,000s place is worth 80,000. Read the last sentence. Loud.
If 8 were in the 100,000s place, it would have a value of 10 times 80,000 or 800,000.
So what that means, which you don't necessarily know how to do this yet, but just know it's true. If we move this 8 to the 100,000s place, it would be worth 10 times more. An 8 in the 10,000s place is worth 80,000, so if we moved it one place over, it would be worth 80,000 times 10, or 800,000. When you're looking at two digits that are right next to each other, the one on the left is 10 times greater than the one on the right. Okay, is everybody somewhat with us so far? Okay, if not, I think we're going to do another lesson on this on Monday. Okay, so go ahead and turn the page. Michaela, come and erase what's here, and then go back and sanitize your hands. And I am sanitizing my hands at my desk each time I go back here. Everybody else, turn to page 12.
Okay, there's still a little on it.
And put your finger or pencil on example 2. I'm waiting on everyone to have their pencil on or their finger or pencil on example 2. Okay, read in your head while I read out loud. There are 2,419,200 seconds in 4 weeks. How does the value of the digit in the hundredths place change if this digit were to move to each of the 4 places to its left? Read it again. There are 2,419,200 seconds in 4 weeks. How does the value of the digit in the hundredths place change if this digit were to move to each of the 4 places to its left? What would happen to this digit if I moved it right here? How much greater would it be? If I moved it 1 place over to the left, how much greater would that digit be? Zari?
10 more.
Huh? I'm sorry?
10 more.
Not 10 more, but 10 times more. You're correct, but just make sure you get the wording correctly because 10 more just means plus 10. 10 times more
Okay.
means times 10. Good. How did you know that, Zari? How did you know that, Zari? How did you know that if I move this digit 1 place to the left, it was 10 times greater?
Because the hundredth is higher than the tens.
And what sentence that we just read several times and circled tells us that when we move a digit 1 place to the left, it's 10 times greater? What sentence did we circle on the page before that told us when we move 1 digit to the left, it's 10 times greater?
On example 1, it was a digit in each place represents 10 times what it would represent in the place to its right.
Good. So that means this place is 10 times greater than this place. This place is 10 times greater than this place. Is this place 10 times greater than this place? Is this 10,000ths place 10 times greater than the 10th place? Why? Michaela?
Because the thousand is higher.
Well, what if, just by looking at it, are they right next to each other? No. What about these? Are these right next to each other?
Yes.
So is this one 10 times greater than this one? Good. Okay. So that means the important information in this problem is, first, 2,419,200 seconds. Is 4 weeks important right now? No. There's a number, but are we doing anything with the 4 weeks? No. We're just trying to figure out, how does the value of the digit in the hundredths place change if it were to move to each of the 4 places to its left? So there's our question. Now we're going to fill out our place value chart. I know it's already filled out for you, but you're going to go over it with your pencil. When we write the number, do we start on the left, Colin?
No.
No, because then we end up with places down here that are empty. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. That is not a real number. So what side do we have to start on, Cullen?
The right.
The right. So we're going to look at our last digit. We're going to start with the last digit and move to the first digit. So we have a 0. Make sure you are writing this 2. Another 0. A 2. A comma. Don't forget to write the comma. A 9. A 1. A 4. We have another comma. And a 2. You can have, Zadie, it doesn't matter if you can't see because you know what we're doing. You're listening. You can have empty spaces at the front. That's fine. You cannot have empty spaces at the back. That is not fine. You have made a mistake somewhere. Ethan, did you write on top of the numbers that were already there? Did you do that with us? Right now it's not going to make much of a difference. You need to do it with us. Do not start on the left. If you're not going to listen, it is going to cause problems for you. We start on the right and we move to the left when we fill out a place value chart. So now, the digit in the hundredths place. Well, that's why we filled out our place value chart. Michaela, what digit is in the hundredths place? Is it 4? Is that the hundredths place or is it the hundred thousands place? 2. Remember, we have what says hundredths, but look, it's 100 in the thousands period, so that means it's 100,000s. This is 100 in the millions period, so it's worth 100 million. If it helps you, in fact, everybody right now, what I want you to do is underneath each one, I want you to write, you don't have to do it in the ones period, but underneath the ones and the thousands, you're going to write 1 thousands, 10 thousands, 100 thousands, 1 millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. Because it's not just worth 100, it's worth 100 million. It's not just worth 10, it's worth 10,000. That's why I wish that they would include that. So now, Michaela, the digit in the hundredths place is what? We're not looking at 100,000s or 100 millions, we're looking at the hundredths place. 2. A 2 in the hundredths place is worth how much? 200. 200. Now, if we were to move it one place over, so if there was a 2 in the 1,000s place, how much would that be worth, Michaela? 2,000. 2,000 is 10 times greater than 200. All you need to know is that that's true. You don't know how to do, you may not know how to do that multiplication yet. You will soon. But for now, all you need to know is that 2,000 is 10 times greater than 200. Now, if we were to move this 2 to the 10,000s place, how much would it be worth? 20,000. Very good. 20,000 is how many times greater than 2,000, Michaela?
2,000.
Aaron? 10. Because remember, they're right next to each other. So that means this one's 10 times greater than this one. If they're right next to each other, the one on the left is 10 times greater, no matter what, as long as they're right next to each other. Now, if we were to move this 2 to the 100,000s place, how much would it be worth?
24,000.
We have 200, 2,000, 20,000, and remember 200 here. If we move it here, it's 200. So, if the digit were moved to the 100,000s place, how much is it worth? Okay. Good. So let's, Michaela, read this last sentence on example 2.
The digit in each,
Loud, loud, loud.
the digit in each place represents then that is 10 times as great as it has in the place to its right.
So Michaela just read, the digit in each place has a value that is 10 times as great as it has in the place to its right. Again, that's another way of saying these two digits that are right next to each other. Oh, okay. We're going to finish this on Monday because we only have 10 minutes until reading. And I think we just need another day of this. So we're going to finish this on Monday. You will not have homework from the textbook, but you will have some practice to do over the weekend, okay? I will figure out what that is, and I will scan it and email it to you guys at home. I will print it for you guys at school. Okay, so let's pause. Well, we have a few minutes, so let's finish talking about example 2, and then we'll move on to the guided practice and independent practice on Monday. Yes, Victoria, quickly.
So we have no math right now?
You weren't listening to what I just said. I'm not repeating myself. Your hand was raised. You were thinking about the question instead of listening to what I was saying. So I'm not going to answer that question because I literally just said exactly that answer. You just weren't listening. Okay. So this sentence is just another way of saying the digits right next to each other. If you have two digits that are right next to each other in the place value chart, focus. The one on the left is 10 times greater than the one on the right. Okay, let's see. So we will do the guided practice and the independent practice on Monday. We will have a little bit more of direct instruction. That's it for now. So I will scan and email you what to do this weekend at home. So just be looking out for that.